Hello. Here we are, Sunday night. This is a short one today. I've, to be honest, been feeling a bit croaky and a bit of a sore throat just over the last few days. So, hence why it's going to be quite short. But it's quite nice to have an option to do a shorter one from time to time. We'll still focus very much on the meditation, the body scanning, checking in with how you're feeling today. And hopefully, you're in a good mood for all those mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. And it's been sunny, at least here in glorious Leamington Spa. So, when you're ready, you can have a lie down, get yourself nice and relaxed, nice and ready, and let's do some yoga together, some pajama yoga, because it's Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Here we go. So, making yourself comfortable, as always, as much as we can do, we're going to lie down on our back and we can have our legs bent or straight, depending on um, depending on how we feel. You can try both positions to see which one works well for you. It's warmer today, so I haven't had to have the heating on, which is quite nice. Anyway, I like to start with my legs bent at least for the first few minutes, just to allow the lower back to settle down to the floor. And sometimes it takes us a little while to find that comfortable position. So make sure that you check in with your feet, your hips, your back. We can do a few pelvic tilts, backs and forwards, a little rocking from side to side. And then we can let go of the back of the shoulders. Close the eyes when you're ready. And we're going to start thinking about breathing in and out through the nose. This allows us to slow our breath down effortlessly. So we don't want to force our breath to be in any particular pattern. As such, we're trying to find really how our body is most comfortable, what it wants to do. Checking in with the back of the head. Let's make sure that the back of the neck is nice and long, so the chin is in a fairly neutral position, and quite often we're tilting it up to the ceiling without even realizing. So if you lift your head up and place it back down again, thinking about that back of the neck and the front of the neck. Let's see if we can let go of any tension wherever we notice it. As I say, with the eyes closed, it just allows us to focus a bit more internally on how our body is feeling today or this evening. And just taking stock of our day so far. And hopefully we've had a good Sunday, everybody. And we think about allowing the arms to just roll out slightly. So hopefully broadening out across the front of the shoulders here, across our collarbones. Feeling that connection between our breastbone, down the center of our chest, out through the collarbones, and to the very tops of the arms. And allowing our elbows to be heavy down to the floor. And see if we can encourage some softness into the forearms, all the way down to the wrists and into the palms, the base of the fingers and thumbs, all the way to the tips of the fingers and thumbs. And then tune into how the upper back feels, feeling that connection between the back and the floor. And then starting to notice the front of the body, particularly the torso, the chest, and the belly. And notice how it moves as we breathe, expanding up and out as we breathe in, and dropping back as we breathe out. Or maybe allowing the back of the shoulders to be heavy down to the floor every out breath. An opportunity to tune in and see if we can let go of any holding or any tension wherever we notice it. And finding that softness through the face. So from the hairline at the top of the forehead, across the forehead and down to the tip of the nose, out to the cheeks, through the cheekbones, all the way to the ears. And then we just check in with how it feels in our mouth. So maybe if it's comfortable for you, you've got your lips closed and you're breathing in and out through your nose. If that isn't for you, and we are coming in towards hay fever season for some of you, so you can breathe in and out through your mouth. If it's difficult to do it through your nose, but let's have a small space between the upper and lower lips. Otherwise, they're completely closed. The breath is slowing down. Focusing as we breathe in, the body rises up. We draw space and breath into our body. And as we breathe out, we let go of some of that tension wherever we notice it. Noticing how it feels through the back of the glute muscles, those muscles in the bum, through the top of the back of the legs, and down through the knees and into the heels, all the way into the soles of the feet. Maybe give your toes a little wiggle, just so we know where they are. Letting go of the back of your shoulders, heavy down to the floor. Letting go of any holding around the hips into the lower back, down towards the floor. Letting go of any holding through the legs, through the back of the calf muscles, the heels, heavy to the floor, or the soles of the feet, heavy to the floor if the legs are bent. And let's see if we could let go of any tension, if we've noticed any, through the tops of the feet, the front of the ankles, around the knees, and through the front of the thighs, all the way to the tops of the front of the thighs, our hip flexors, where the creases are if we bend our legs. Bringing the focus back to the belly. So if your hands are on the floor, we're going to bring the hands onto the belly, the palms down, maybe take the elbows out a little bit wider. We're going to take our time and see if we can really breathe into our hands. Noticing as we breathe in, maybe the fingers spread apart, the belly rises up high. And as we breathe out, the belly drops back down towards the floor. And maybe we let go of a little tension through the lower back, breathing in, expanding through the belly. Breathing out, heavy through the lower back down to the floor. Breathing in. And out. So you work with the breath at your own pace. Something that makes sense to you. So we'll have a few more breaths where we really try and expand into our hands as we breathe in. Thinking about letting go as we breathe out, not just where the hands are, but anywhere else in the body that we become aware of if we feel any tension there. And then we'll bend our legs if they're not bent already. I'm going to bring the feet flat to the floor. Hands come down by the side, and we're just going to rock the knees from side to side. Taking the legs in one direction, bringing them back up to the center, and taking them down in the other direction. So we're going to connect this movement to our breath. And if you're not sure about what I mean there, we can choose. So we can breathe in maybe as we bring the knees up to the center, and breathe out as we take them down to the side. Breathing in as we bring them back to the center, and breathing out, taking them down to the other side. We try and find a breath connection with our movement in a way that makes sense to us. So if we prefer to breathe in the opposite way, maybe breathing out as we bring our knees up, and in as we take them down. Whatever works for us, but the trick is to focus on the breath and connect it to the movement, and to notice how we feel through the rest of the body as we do this, as we create this movement. Noticing how it feels through the shoulders, how it feels through the back of the head and into the neck. And maybe we want to feel that movement a little bit more into the head as well. So as we take the knees down to one side, we might just drop the head down in the other direction. Bringing the knees and the head back to the center. And then going in the opposite direction as we take the knees down in one direction and roll our head over to the other side. And notice how the head kind of rolls around in a kind of arc shape. So we're trying to make this move as natural for us as possible. Just really noticing how it feels through the shoulders from one side to the other. How it feels through the lower back. And how it feels through the legs. Let's just do a few more of these. Connecting with your breath, breathing out maybe as you take the knees and the head to one side or opposite sides. Breathing in as you bring them back to the center. And down as you take them in the other direction. And then we're going to pause now. Now we're back in the center. Maybe adjusting the back of the shoulders or the back of the hands through the arms. And then we're going to draw the knees into the chest. One knee followed by the other. Let's hold on to the legs somewhere. So again, this is just where it's comfortable for you. So ideally we want the knees together, but if they're apart, then that's fine. But once they're in towards the chest, we hold on in a place that's comfortable for us. So maybe it's around the front of the knees, or maybe it's around the back of the legs. We want to make sure we let go through the back of the shoulders. And we're going to take that rocking from side to side. So again, you can go through the head movement as well, or it can just be the knees rocking over from side to side. Now, if the knees are together and the knees are in close to the chest, it's a little harder to expand through the belly. In which case, maybe we need to take that breath higher up into the chest. Maybe we take the breath more into the back. Maybe the head goes in the same direction as the knees. Or maybe opposite directions. And then we'll bring the knees back to the center. Let's hold on to our right knee and drop the left foot down. And then we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. And this right knee goes wide. So we've got big space between the two legs. And again, we can rock our hips from side to side in this position. So we're keeping our legs crossed. It might be a big movement from side to side, or it might be a little movement. We just start to notice how it feels through the whole of the leg, that right leg, where the foot is off the floor. As we take it in one direction, then bring it back up to the center, taking it down in the other direction. Going as slowly as is comfortable for us. And then we're going to stop the rocking. I'm going to uncross this right leg. Bring the foot back to the floor. Bring the left foot off the floor and cross the foot over the right knee. And we'll take this rocking again. It's going down in one side, one direction. Coming back up to the center and going in the other direction. Thinking about keeping the legs, or the relationship between the legs, fixed. But the movement is through the back, through the hips, through the spine. Noticing how it feels into both legs as we do this. And connecting this movement to our breath. A couple more rocks from side to side. And then we'll drop the foot down to the floor so both legs are the same, the feet flat to the floor, the knees pointing up. We're going to bring the right knee into the chest, holding on to that leg, and we'll take the left leg long along the floor. So seeing if we can find some softness through that straight leg. We'll find a little stillness now. Holding on to this right leg. This right knee into the chest, waiting for some softness through the thigh, through the knee, into the hip. And then we're going to take this right knee across the body. We're going to come to a twist. So the foot can rest on the other leg as the knee goes over to the side. You may need to adjust your position to make sure we've got space. And that right knee goes down as far as is comfortable for you. So if you've got cushions or blocks or anything to support the knee, then you can do that. I'm going to take that right arm wide, and we're going to just roll the head over to take a look at the right hand. And then when we're ready, we can close the eyes and think about letting go through the back of this right shoulder, letting go through the right leg. So we can hold on to the right knee with the left hand. It's a nice twist. So some of us prefer twists to anything else, others not so much. So you just take that knee over as far as is comfortable for you, to a position where it feels good for you, whether you can maybe feel a stretch through the right arm as well. And think about letting go through the straight leg as much as possible. Using our full breaths in to expand into any areas of tension or compression, and using our breath out to see if we can let go just a little bit more of any holding wherever we notice it. Couple more breaths. And then we'll slowly bring this right knee back to the center. We'll drop the foot to the floor. We'll bend the other leg, and we'll just have a little rock again of the hips, maybe lifting your bum up, placing it back down. Coming back to our neutral position. And then we'll draw the left knee into the chest and straighten the right leg along the floor. We'll give ourselves time to find that softness through the left thigh, particularly around the front of the thigh, maybe across the knee, maybe into the hips. Notice how it feels through the back of the leg. Let it go fully through the straight leg as well. Using our breath to find that softness, to breathe in fully, and to let go of tension as we breathe out. And then we're going to start to take the left knee over the body, coming to a twist to the other side. So the foot can rest on the other leg. You can come to the floor if that's more comfortable for us. We can hold on to this thigh with our right hand this time and take our left arm out along the floor. Roll the head to take a look at the hand, and then close our eyes when we're ready. using our breath to see if we can encourage ourselves to let go. So we're not forcing ourselves into a twist. As always with these things, we want to release and let go into the stretch as much as possible, knowing that our body will sink, will let go if we're patient enough, and if we take the time to really notice where we feel that holding, where we feel that tension. Taking the breath into that place, expanding fully, drawing the breath, creating space in those places of tension, and then letting go with each out breath, maybe just a little bit more each time. Continuing to hold for just a few more breaths in this position. Full breaths in and out, letting go as much as possible of any tension wherever we notice it. And then we'll slowly start to bring the knee back to the center, taking our time to adjust, to straighten ourselves up. Let's bend both legs. Bring the bum off the floor as we push our feet into the floor and then drop it back down, adjusting the position of our back. And when we're ready, we can straighten our legs along the floor. And we could think about letting go, finding that softness in the soles of the feet, through the heels, finding that softness through the calf muscles and the muscles to the outside of the shin bones and up into the knees. Thinking about letting go as much as possible through the back of the thighs, all the way to the sitting bones and up to our glutes. And letting go of any holding through the lower back. Being aware of how the front of our thighs are feeling, from the knees up to the front of the hips, all the way into the lower belly. Letting go through the glute muscles, out to the sides of the waist. Allowing the back of the shoulders to drop heavy down to the floor, so maybe adjusting the shoulders if we need to, if we notice any tension there. And let's see if we can let go of any holding through the arms, all the way into the hands. And checking in with the back of the neck, making sure it's nice and long. The head is heavy. Thinking about finding some softness through the face, around the hairline, across the forehead and down to the eyebrows, and out to the temples. Allowing the eyeballs to drop heavy down, deep into the skull. Letting go of any holding across the bridge of the nose and along the cheekbones. Finding that space in the mouth. So the upper and lower teeth have a little space between them at the back of the mouth. The tongue is just resting in the mouth. We're checking that we're not ramming it forwards or high up into the bridge of the mouth. Letting go of any holding through the lower jaw and down through the front of the neck. And we just watch how the chest rises up as we breathe in and drops back as we breathe out. A breath constant. The in-breath becomes the out-breath, becomes the in-breath, and so on. Wave-like motion, continually feeding the body with everything it needs. Allowing ourselves to take these few moments to focus on ourselves and how we're feeling. Enjoying the space, enjoying the peace, allowing ourselves to let go. Breathing in, breathing out. So when you're ready, you can take a little movement through the hands and the feet, the fingers, the toes, a little wiggle through the wrists and the ankles. You can give yourself a big stretch up through the arms, a big yawn. You can bend your legs, bring them into the chest if you're still lying. A little rock of the hips again. And when you're ready, you can come up to seated, or you can just roll over and go to bed. Have a great week. Thank you all for coming. And sorry about the croakiness, but it's just one of those things. I'll see you all next week. Bye.